think, Lamar? Got snubbed from the NFL Honors yesterday. Because we had the Offensive Rookie of the Year. We know Jaden Daniels. That's without question. We knew he was going to get that one. I don't think anyone's surprised about that one. Defensive Rookie of the Year went to Jared Verse. So that was a huge year for him as a rookie.
Yep.
Coach of the Year went to Dan Campbell. I mean, yeah, I understood that. Then Ben Johnson won, Assistant Coach of the Year. Figured that was going to happen. But man, who do you think got snubbed? I know Josh Allen was the MVP. Defensive Player of the Year was PS2, Patrick Surtain the second. Who you think was snubbed, Lamar?
Gotcha. Well, you know what? It would be easy to just say, because I like my name. I think it's the year of the Lamar. It could have been Lamar Jackson. Kendrick Lamar just went around with 5 Grammys. We got to check on Drake out, make sure he's okay. But and I'm on the show now, so it's easy to maybe bring up Lamar, But sometimes you kind of get that in the NBA where people kind of get that. I don't know if you want to call it fatigue, voters fatigue. They don't want to vote for the same person over and over. So I get the Josh Allen thing, right? But for me, I'm actually going to do something a little different before I give you who I thought got snubbed. I'm going to bring up an idea that they could have done. I know they weren't going to do it, but they could have did this if they wanted to, right? So Verse, obviously he got the defensive, Rookie of the Year. We know that. Jaden Daniels could have just won the overall, Rookie of the Year. Because I saw something, they saying it was like 3 different things, unless I'm mistaken. And when I was reading something online, this offense, defense, then they have whoever they think is overall. But maybe I could be wrong, right? And then offensive, somebody that actually broke a record this year, not just because they on one of my teams, but Brock Bowers, right? If you actually look at his stats, right, he just broke the record, and I actually got the stats here, top 5 of all time. Sam Laporta, 889 yards in 2023. Jeremy Shockey, 894 yards in 02, right? Throwback. That's the U right there, baby, right? Kyle Pitts, right? 1,026, a sleeper, right? And actually, if he's with it, hey, Kyle, just let Atlanta know you disgruntled. Adam Peters will bring you over here. I'll tell you. I know we just drafted somebody last year, but we can use you, right? Mike Ditka, right? 1961, 1,076. And then Brock Bowers, 1,194 yards, just 6 yards shy of 1,200 yards as a tight end, and add 5 tutties with it. So, I think that they could have did that if they wanted, but I think we all understood that Jaden was hands down. They were going to give it to him because what he did was just no other QB has done that. Not a great defense. He was the main guy. So, but to answer your question, the snub, honestly, I thought it was such a magical year. I get they wanted Dan Campbell. Kevin O'Connell was in the mix, but I think Dan Quinn, why not? You took a team that had the number 2 overall pick. No, look, because think about it. Dan Campbell, remember, they went 12-5, I think, last year or something like that, something similar. So they were expected to be good. I had to win in the division. Minnesota, yeah, we kind of got injured, right? But nobody thought the Commanders were going to be there. So I think Dan Quinn could have had it. I think he got a little snub. I think he should have had it in the mix. So that's my opinion.
Hey, that's great. It's good that you brought up Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers actually did me a lot of service for my fantasy football league. I mean, it didn't help out because I didn't make the playoffs, of course. I mean, that didn't happen. But still, he was a bright spot on my fantasy football team, and he definitely had a phenomenal year this year. Brock Bowers was, if you want to go by this season, he was probably the best tight end in the league this year, and that's for this year. I'm not saying he's the best tight end, period, but for this season, he definitely played the best tight end out of everybody, and that's including Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, whatever tight end you want to name. He had the best season overall from any tight end. This is his first season in the NFL. He had to deal with Gardner Minshew. He had to deal with other quarterbacks on his team. He didn't have a solidified number 1 quarterback. And that's also with no run game for real, and no other weapon on the outside because Devontae Adams got traded later in the season, and no one else was really doing anything.
Right.
So that was good. My snub for this season for me, even though I personally voted for TJ Watt to be the Defensive Player of the Year, I feel like Trey Hendrickson got robbed of the defensive player of the year because he had a phenomenal season, 17 and a half sacks this year. He led. He was one of the best tacklers. He was definitely an enforcer. He was top 5 in pressures this year. I feel like he got robbed of this. Not saying that PS2 is not a great cornerback because he is. Don't get me wrong. PS2 had a great season as a quarterback, but I really thought that Trey Hendrickson should have won the Defensive Player of the Year award. He had a phenomenal season this year on a team that was. I mean, the defense wasn't necessarily that good, so I guess I understand it. Defense overall wasn't good for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they fired their defensive coordinator, of course, but he got a job instantly with the Colts. I don't understand that. I don't know, but he had a phenomenal season this year, and I feel like he should have. I feel like he should have gotten. He should have gotten the nod. But like I said, I'm not mad at them giving it to PS2 because he had a phenomenal season. He was, to me, the best cornerback that played this year because we all heard about Sauce Gardner possibly being number 1 overall, and he got baked this year. So he did not have a good season this year. But if for me, it was Trey Hendrickson, and of course Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is my other one. I get the voters fatigue thing. And then people want to say, Josh Allen did it without no weapons. Well, Lamar Jackson been doing that his entire career with the Ravens. You tell me what number 1 wide receiver he has. People still don't consider people still don't consider Zay Flowers a number 1 overall wide receiver. They just call him a slot receiver. So he ain't Justin Jefferson. He not Jamar Chase. He not AJ Brown. He not CeeDee Lamb. He not these top 5 wide receivers in the league. He ain't one of them. Right. He ain't even top 10, I don't think. So he still doesn't have a top weapon as a wide receiver right now. He got Mark Andrews, and we saw what he did in that playoff game against the Bills. So, he got that. And they say, well, he got Derrick Henry. He was putting up these kind of numbers before Derrick Henry even got there.
Well, that's a fact.
Now I know he didn't throw. I know this is his first time throwing for over 4,000 yards, but he's thrown for over 3,000 yards before, so it's not the first time he's done that. Yeah, he's ran over 1,000 yards, so he's had a 4,000 yard season before. So it's not the first time he's done that. He's a dynamic quarterback. So for people to say that Josh Allen deserved it because he didn't have no weapons, I mean, they had to go get him Amari Cooper. It's not, Amari Cooper just didn't play well, and then Keon Coleman got hurt a little bit, and then people forget that his running back had the most rushing touchdowns in the league. He has 17 rushing touchdowns in this season. Like, are we serious right now?
That's true. And still put up good numbers alongside
James Cook was cooking. So he had a phenomenal season. And people tried to say for a while that he had no running backs. He had a running backs. It's just that his offensive coordinator was not running the ball that much. They kept putting it in Josh Allen's hand, which is why he was so turnover worthy within the last few seasons. Now I get it. He only has 6 interceptions this year. Bravo.
That's great for him.
I believe it should have went to Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson was the MVP of the league this season, and I feel like he got snubbed.
Yeah, that's fair. Once again, I say it's the year of Lamar Jackson, Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Big things coming over here too. So yeah, I can't disagree with that. Lamar Jackson was definitely on one. Sure.
Absolutely. And then we got